Okay. Yeah, over there. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
And then you can see it
Right,
right there.
right, thank you. With us now are players from the 12th-seeded South Dakota State. We have with us Paige Meyer, a junior from Albany, Minnesota, and Brooklyn Meyer, a sophomore from Larchwood, Iowa. We'll open it to questions for the ladies.
Hey guys, Brooklyn, I asked Alyssa earlier, she was the Pac-12 Player of the Year a year ago, and then, obviously you're the 7th League Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year this year. I asked her just her thoughts on the matchup, and, she's probably a top 10 player in the country right now. Just how are you approaching that matchup? Is it one you're looking forward to? And, just what are you expecting when you go against her?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. She's obviously a really good player, and I feel like it'll be a good challenge for me defensively to, try to do everything that I can. And, I have a lot of respect for her, and obviously we're going to just give it our best effort, and,
Lynn Roberts had a lot of respect for just how hard you guys play Paige. I think you're probably the biggest catalyst of that, being the point guard and the leader of the team. A lot of praise for how hard you guys play, and how much maybe respect do you get from a coach giving you guys that kind of praise?
Yeah, we really respect that. And like Brooklyn said, we respect Utah too. They like to play fast, and I think that's something that as a team we try and do too. So I think it might be a fast-paced game.
Drew's going to be at the game, and obviously she's got some ties there. Any chatter in the locker room about maybe some beef? I don't know what's going on with that.
No, we didn't get any insight either. So, but no, it'll be fun to see Drew out there, and her being a part of both programs is kind of a cool thing for her.
Now that you guys have, Ian Sachs, Carolina Sports. Now that you guys have kind of had a couple of days to look into the film with them, what stands out to you most about the matchup with Utah?
They, like we said, they like to play fast, and they have a lot of really good shooters, and then obviously a really good post player. And so I feel like just being solid defensively and being able to adjust to all the different things that they do is going to be big for us.
You guys were on the stage a year ago playing in the NCAA tournament. What would it mean to go, back-to-back years of at least winning one tournament game?
Yeah, for sure. Last year was a lot of fun being a part of this. And, we're glad to be back here this year. And, we take it one game at a time, so we'll see what we can do tomorrow night.
A reminder, if anyone is on Zoom, to hit the raise your hand button to ask a question.
I do have one more for you, Brooklyn, just in terms of, we talked about it throughout the season, but now that it's actually here, compared to a year ago, I think you didn't play much in the tournament a year ago, but now you're going to be in a much bigger role. Is there any maybe difference in the way you approach, this weekend and how you've been preparing for the postseason this time around?
Maybe a little bit. I feel like our whole team has a lot of young players that have stepped up this year, but I feel like we're all excited to get this opportunity and get this chance to just go out and do what we do and, see what happens.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, ladies, thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Coach.
Hello.
How are you? We
I'm
might
good.
have to wait a minute or two because of the Zoom situation, so. I was hoping you wouldn't show up. I wanted to see the end of the Yale-Florida game.
Replay. I have to check the replay. What's
I
the
think
score?
I think Yale's gonna beat them. They're
Really?
ahead by 3 with 9 seconds to go.
Oh,
Ahead by
goodness.
2 with 9 seconds to go. Let me know when we're good to go.
2 minutes out.
Okay, thank you. Former Gonzaga assistant is an assistant at Colorado.
Okay.
They beat Florida. Colorado beat
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
Yale's playing Auburn. Yale's beating Auburn.
Auburn it is, yeah. Ooh, that'd be a big win.
The LSU women pulled one out today.
Close, yeah. This time of year.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, all sides, men's side, women's side, all kinds of upsets. Yeah.
We have with us head coach Aaron Johnston of number 12 seed South Dakota State. Coach, would you like to make a few opening remarks?
Sure. Well, we're anxious to kind of get going and get ourselves back into a playing mode. We've been off here since Tuesday of last week, which a lot of teams are this time of year. It's just such a good time to take a break, but also reset and then try and build up as you get ready for a really important event. We've played really well this year. Proud of the team, just as every coach is that gets a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. I really think this is, I believe, our 12th time playing in the NCAA tournament, and it doesn't get old. Every time seems a little bit new, and you go to different places, you take different teams, you have different experiences, different opponents, and I would say every one of them feels really special, and I think this one's going well here, and we're looking forward to getting out on the floor.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, as is protocol with the NCAA, Brad Peterson, the Jackrabbit Sports Network, good to see you. Talk about your senior leadership in Tori Nelson, and especially in her play, championship game, the 7-0 run that she personally had, really epitomizes the winning effort that she has given from the first day she stepped on to the campus and into your practice facility. Talk about the importance of Tori to this team.
Yeah, Tori's been, with us as a lot of players right now have been for a long time. 5th year, and she's used that additional year, and she's had a ton of success with us. I think she's lost maybe a total of like 4 conference games in her 5-year career. And so Tori is a winner, one of the best winners we've ever had. And I think you hear that and you automatically assume, winning games versus losing games. That's part of it. But she's just a winner for all of the things that Tori does to help our team be successful. She's a captain. She's very vocal with our team. As a player, she does whatever's asked of her this year. Because of injuries and some adversity, I think Tori's played all 5 positions at some point. Very few people can do that. As a senior, we've got a couple of younger players that lead us maybe statistically. A lot of seniors might really push and crave that spotlight and that attention, but Tori, just wants to see people around her do well. So Tori really kind of raises her play when it's needed, and that championship game for us is a great example. We were in a close game, and Tori made 3 big baskets down the stretch that really iced the game. And for her, her story's not done yet. We hope to keep writing, but that was such a great moment and a great example of what Tori's done for our program, and to have that kind of few-minute stretch there in front of, whatever it was, 8,000 people, I think is a great memory for Tori and her family. But I think our team feels the same way. It's a great moment for our team, because I think everybody in the team feels that way about Tori.
Talk about Brooklyn Meyer's play coming into this tournament, Summit League Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. In conversations that we had even last year, you said she had the game to be a starter for you last year, but there was just so many players ahead of her. So there is development, but you certainly saw this potential happening. Talk about what she has done for this team.
Yeah, Brooklyn's really one of the best post players around. She's really talented. And early in the year as a sophomore, we had games like that where she would really take over and have, great games, great stretches. But also we were a little up and down early on as an offensive team. And Brooklyn as a post player that's just a position that relies on everybody else too. You know, you have to be able to make some shots around her, you have to be able to get her the ball, and as everybody else started to play better offensively too, I thought Brooklyn's game really took off as well. In our league, she doesn't catch the ball without 2-3 people around her. She's just really dominant down there, and she's grown into a fantastic passer. She creates a lot of offense not only for herself but for others. From last year to this year, worked incredibly hard. She's in fantastic shape. So right now she plays with a really high motor and can play a lot of minutes for us. And she does it offensively and defensively. Even from where she was back in December when we played out here is just completely different and grown a lot as a player. So yeah, she's a huge part of our success. And as a sophomore, it's pretty rare to see somebody do all the things that she's able to do offensively and defensively on the floor.
So you've had a 21-game win streak, and you haven't lost since December. And, of course, we're out here a week before Christmas. What has changed about this team that has made you so efficient offensively and maybe even a better defensive team?
Yeah, at that time we were just still getting healthy. Paige Meyer, our point guard, had just come back from missing, I think, 3 games or 4. She was on minute restrictions at that point, so she wasn't even playing full games. We were just really kind of limping along then. And as we got going, we just got healthier and were able to get some key players back in the lineup and playing well. And then I think a lot of our younger players really grew. As much as we rely on Tori as a senior, Paige Meyer, our point guard, as a junior, everybody else at that time was still a lot of sophomores. And even our other juniors, Maddie Vlaston and Mesa Bym at that time, were still new to their roles. And we just asked an awful lot out of a new, or I don't want to say inexperienced as a negative, but inexperienced with game minute team. And as we just got more and more comfortable and confident in what we're doing, we really started to take off. So we've defended really well, I think, all year at a high level. Offensively, we've played very, very well here the last several weeks or months, and our team has really changed, grown, improved over the course of the entire season. And that's fun to see as a coach. That's really what you want. You want to continue to get better and hopefully play your best here at the end.
Coach, do you feel it's almost a bit like poetic in a way that you kind of mentioned that around Christmas time you were here and you were just kind of limping along, but now a lot of the injuries, it's been known, and everyone else, I just asked Mesa, how do you guys feel about yourselves as a team? And she said everyone feels really set in their roles, really confident in their roles. So do you feel like it's a bit maybe poetic justice that you get to come back here where you played and you feel like you maybe weren't playing your best, and now you get a chance where maybe you feel like you're playing your best, and now you're really going to get put to the test against some of the best teams in the country?
Yeah, I mean, we're excited about that. I think we'd be excited no matter where we're playing. Hopefully we have a little bit better mojo than we had the last time we were here. That's a game we just didn't play well, and obviously they are very good, so they make teams not play well. But we are a very different team. But you also have to assume at this point in the year other teams are different too. As we get ready for Utah, they've grown and they've gotten better as their year has gone on. They've got a couple of the best players in the country at their position that we'll have to go up against. So, yeah, I no doubt we're playing our best basketball, but whoever we play as we go forward, starting with Utah, is going to be playing their best basketball. So there'll be big challenges. But our team, I think, is to use, I think, what you said Mesa commented on. Everybody's really confident in what's expected of them. Nobody steps on the floor and is unsure or lacks that purpose or vision about how they can help us succeed, and that's fun. And that allows players to play at a high level when they're really, truly valued in that role, and they see that value. It really it can be special, and that's where our team has taken off a little bit.
You mentioned that Utah's going to have some of the best players in the country at their positions on their team. Obviously, Alyssa Peely, she was a third-team All-American. I don't know if I apologize if it's been asked already, but just what kind of challenges does maybe she present? Because even her head coach said she's a bit of a unicorn in that just the mix of her size, but her finesse and her shooting touch as well on the outside. She's such a problem for other teams. So just how do you as a coach go after the type of player that she is?
Yeah, she is really versatile, talented. There's very few things that she can't do. She makes a lot of what they do on offense work really well. But also part of what makes her as good as she is all that shooting and talent and skill on the perimeter too. You could have somebody like her inside, and if they lacked some of that shooting, she wouldn't be the kind of player she is. So I think they fit really well together, kind of like we fit really well together. The two styles have some similarities. Specific to her, she's just a challenge because she shoots it so well, passes it so well, can score in the post, so physical, draws fouls. You know, we're going to have to do a great job of just trying to help, be smart about how we do it, mix up some things, and try not to let her get comfortable without forgetting about all the other, you know, good players at the same time.
Last one for me. You guys are a bit of a trendy pick, as far as, an upset pick. And not to, I'm sure you probably couldn't care less about that, but as far as just what it says about the program, what do how much respect do you gain from that, just as far as knowing that, you guys are kind of becoming a more, nationwide household name?
Well, like I said, this is our 12th run in this tournament, and so there's a lot of history there. We've won games. Last year we beat USC in the first round. We've been to the Sweet 16, and we've had other successes. So, for us, we just want to continue to grow as a program. And I think to do that for us right now, not only making national tournaments, the NCAA tournament, it's trying to win games in the NCAA tournament. And I think our team is really unified in that. I think they believe in that. I think they're really committed to that. And so we want to have a great experience here, but we want to find ways to win games here. And that's how we'll be measured. So however people view us before the game happens, how they view us after is probably more important, So.
Zach Ward with Dakota News Now. I know their coach mentioned it. Obviously, we know all about the situations your team's had with injuries, but they've kind of had the same thing as well with a couple of their leading scorers going down early. Add a little bit of there's kind of some mirror images with that. Does it add a little bit of intrigue, a little bit that they kind of, each team kind of shares a little bit with this, that you kind of know that you can't take anything for granted from them if they get down a little bit, that both these teams kind of know in each other that there's no deficit, there's no situation that either one can't overcome.
Yeah, I think so. I think you've really seen that across the country. This has just been a year where there's been a lot of injuries to some really key players. We're dealing with it. Utah's dealing with it, but I've seen that for really a number of other teams, and no real good idea why. But it's been a tough year, and so I think you can relate to what people are dealing with, and I think you empathize with that because those are really tough losses. I've said it a lot this year. It's not just statistics or positions, they're people. And as much as we want to succeed against the very best. And we feel that other teams would against us too. So you certainly empathize with it. But both teams right now seem to be really settled in the groups that they have and still finding ways to play at a really high level.
A reminder, if you're on Zoom and you have a question, use the raised hand icon, please.
You touched on it a minute ago about kind of building the reputation of the program and winning games in the NCAA tournament. What would it mean to win it for a second straight year, win at least one game in the Big Dance if you could pull it off tomorrow?
Yeah, it always feels good to win at this level. At this level, you're playing against the very best teams in the country. And seeding, matters because it's a reflection of what everybody has done up until this point. But it's been great to see in women's basketball that seeding isn't necessarily, always hold true. What'll make this tournament continue to be more and more exciting is to have some upsets, to see more parity. And I think this year is an example of that. There are a lot of teams that are very capable of winning in these first couple of rounds and moving forward. And I think we're certainly one of those teams. I know Utah is certainly one of those teams. And so I think you're getting to a point where the tournament's, really grown to that level. A lot of teams are capable of having success. I think for us, it's about being really focused on what we do well and trying to handle that emotion and excitement of it and finding a way to play well tomorrow. But, I feel like we want to be measured. We want to be, thought of as a team that can advance in the NCAA tournament, and we get a chance to prove that.
One last one, Aaron. The mentality of this team, and you've shared it throughout the season about playing for each other. We've obviously documented a lot of different reasons to play for each other, to pick each other up in a season that has had a shortened roster. But just could you speak to how important those conversations, because you mention often they're not just numbers, they're not just stats, they're just not numbers of jerseys. They're names, they're people, and you've talked about it throughout the season about how they have picked it up and wanted to play for each other.
Yeah, I think that's been really important. And because of our injuries, because of our adversity, we've had to be, really good in that area at all times. And I think even without the injuries, had we been 100% healthy, that would still be our focus and plan. There's just no doubt that college athletics is very different now than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and it trends in a more transactional, kind of short-term way for a lot of rosters and programs. And I think for us to be our very best, we've got to be really invested in people and have people come and stay with us and grow with us and then graduate from South Dakota State. And we've been able to do that really well over the years. And so this year it's been really important because we've just been so, banged up and dealing with the emotion of that, but also trying to win games. But it's also just a great reminder of the importance of that and the value of that approach, regardless of what you're dealing with. These are just, I mean this with great respect, young people trying to do the best they can, and our job is to really try and help them, support them, and put them in positions to be successful.
We have time for one more question. Anybody? Okay,
All right,
thank you,
thank
Coach.
you. Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep.